Give me just a minute. I should have checked that while you were talking.
No, you shouldn't have. You should have been listening to my presentation.
Right.
True, that is true.
Wasn't as bad as I thought it would be.
No, you did great.
Sometimes when I write notes, they are more of a detriment.
Yeah, I always
'Cause
try
you
to
end up
just stick to
reading
an
them.
outline.
Yeah.
Well, I'm afraid to do an outline sometimes because then I feel like that I will forget details that I needed to know.
Well, I know this girl over here that did the little
You took my
assessment
book
on
and you did
mine,
it.
Oh, I have one.
she said you should have had more graphics in your presentation, and I firmly believe that you don't. Because you're going to have,
Yeah, it's actually, he stole mine, so just,
Isn't that yours?
this
Yeah.
is mine.
Oh.
He stole it and left it up there. Okay.
I firmly believe in just bullets, like an outline, because if you have too much up there, they're gonna be focusing on that presentation.
Yeah,
and
and that's what I
not
was
just
trying to
that.
reference when I was talking about,
Oh, I didn't ask if you had any questions.
That's okay.
I don't,
Good.
if that makes you feel any better.
I have one question for you guys. So, if you want them to use your handout or use something, when would you hand that out? When, I mean, I know that you waited until we were getting ready to, right before you were doing that. Is that what you usually do?
Yeah, because you find if
Real quick.
you hand it out too soon,
Okay, finish going. Couple.
they're gonna read ahead, and they're gonna be thinking about the handout, and they're not gonna hear what you have to say.
I
So,
don't handouts.
I do at the end,
Yeah.
that's it,
PowerPoint, you wait till the end.
That's
You
right.
Watch the screen and listen.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like, that girl had a really pretty colorful thing, talk about major distraction. People are gonna be sitting there looking at that, and they're not gonna hear anything she says. That's why mine was very simple, the little man and the word. Because, I mean, it's nothing you're gonna sit and
Clean,
focus
crisp,
on.
it's nothing, I mean, he does the same action like 3 times,
Yeah.
and it's like, all right, well, that's okay, I know what he's doing.
Yeah, so you focus on the word and you listen, and you're not, yeah.
Okay,
Ready to go?
ready?
All
Rock and
righty.
roll.
Okay, so we've all read the chapter 6, right?
Yes.
I hope you did. You didn't just end at your chapter.
No.
Okay.
Right.
Chapter 6 was primarily focused on the 5-step process for structuring your learning or training. I actually structured my presentation around this. The first probably third of the chapter covers just the previous chapters, summarizing all of them into one chunk and how it rolls into this. But the whole purpose of this was to create a universal training platform to use, whether you're PTE, whether you're human resources, whether you're training on the job, what have you, it should be able to transfer to any one of those. So the purpose was to create that model, a blank model that you could just transfer, based on previous material that we've covered in the previous 5 chapters. The objectives were to cover the parts of this model. You know what the 5 parts are, since you already read the chapter.
Rationale,
Rationale's the first one.
objectives,
Second one. You're already better than I was at yours.
I don't remember the next one.
Getting involved. What do you do when you get involved?
Activities.
Activities. Do you know the other 2, Kathy?
I'm trying to remember, I had an acronym for that too.
Evaluation,
Evaluation.
conclusion.
And feedback would be your conclusion. So was it
Yeah.
correct? So are you going to confirm them in their, so they were correct, you're going to confirm, yes, you got that right. Or was it wrong? So it's going to be corrective. We'll go back to the beginning here. So rationale, the beginning of your course, whether it's the beginning of the semester, whether it's the beginning of a 1-day course, is going to be focused on what's the purpose? What are they going to get out of this? What can they use this for? It's kind of what we're trying to relay so that you get involved. So obviously, I now know what I'm going to take away from this. I now know that I can apply this in my field, or I could go apply right now in my daily life, what have you. As long as it's something that they can take away to either better themselves, better their family, better their company. The objectives would be your second one, and the objectives is to cover what the learner, I don't want to use student because it's supposed to be a active learning environment, so I'm trying to break that habit. So learners, it's to focus on points that the learners will be able to achieve after this class. Things they will be able to do with the knowledge gained in this class. For example, if I'm gonna go train phlebotomy at work, when they're done, they'll be able to set up a PCS2 plasmapheresis machine properly, identify defects in soft goods, identify the donor, blah, blah, blah. And there's several others that we're not gonna go into them, obviously. But it's basically gonna be, what can they accomplish? What should they know by the time they're done? The activities is gonna be the throughput, what you're gonna do during the class. Activities, for example, I'm gonna have you guys do this real quick, because you already covered that, but there's one on, you don't have your books, do you?
I can pull it up.
Well, it's just, I'll just lay the book right here, it's
Okay.
no big deal. So, just this activity, so you're supposed to fill in the 5 or 6,
And
I
this is
guess.
on page 96.
96. So just fill them in real quick. Give yourself like 2 minutes tops to fill that out. And then which one of these A through G actually apply to which one of those. And then we'll finish up with evaluation and feedback.
Okay, now I'm not quite clear yet what we're supposed to put in those boxes.
So this is your diagram, right?
Right.
So your rationale, your objectives, so that's 1 through 5A and B. A and B,
Okay.
5A and B will be your evaluation. So let's just start with the first 3 that we've actually talked about. So
Okay.
1 was rationale,
Rationale.
correct? So what relates to rationale between, out of A through G? Which one of those accompanies?
Is it F, explain why they should learn it and how it applies to their work?
Is it?
I don't know. Give them things to do. Correct them on a straight, check to see if they've learned.
What letter was it?
F?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Rationale. So you're, like we said, it's something that we're going to explain to them. This is why you want to learn it. This is how it's going to help you. This is what you're going to be able to use it for. So number 2 was what?
The object.
Objectives, correct?
Yeah.
So, which one of those?
Inform them what they will be able to do, so that's A.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So they'll be able to walk away knowing exactly what they can do with it and what they should know by the end of the course or the instruction, or the day for that matter. And then we'll go to activities, and then we'll conclude the rest of this in a minute, and you can finish filling that.
All right, activities, give them things to do, make things interesting, and don't bore them, that's E.
So, yep, you're gonna involve them, constantly involve them. That's what this was supposed to be, was a demonstration. However, granted, that diagram would have been easier for you if we finished covering the last 2 details. However, we'll continue evaluation. So, evaluation is gonna be number 4. And the whole purpose of that is to determine if the activities completed the objectives, basically.
Check to
Do
see
the
what they've learned.
activities in the instruction, did they actually meet the objectives? Were they able to walk away with the information that was intended at the beginning of the course? What did they actually go away being able to do all that? And then evaluation feeds right into the next one, which is feedback. So, did they get it correct? Did they get it wrong? We're going to do either confirmation or confirming feedback or corrective feedback. Not so. Corrective would be constructive criticism type situation. So they didn't get it right, but here's how you can do it right. This is what we're going to do to get it right. So that's going to be the difference after the evaluation. So evaluation goes straight into feedback. Obviously, with feedback, it would be most effective immediately. But granted, with some exams and things like that, you don't get your feedback for like a week, which kind of was a bummer. I took the quiz today for this class. I didn't get any feedback. I missed one, but I don't know which one it was.
I know, I hate that.
I didn't know what it was. I'm like, I don't know. So I closed it out, opened it back up, still couldn't find it.
Yeah.
But so that's your feedback. Did they do okay? Did they do wrong? Or did they not do it right? So let's finish this up real quick. So 4 was evaluation. So
Let's see, check to see what they've learned.
you want to make sure they've met those objectives. Objectives are what your goal is for the end of the class. And
Okay, so 5A and 5B.
So that's after your evaluation. That's going to be your feedback. Was it? It's kind of unclear the way I formatted this, but so okay. So you get your evaluation, and they got it
So-
right. So yes, that would be
5A,
5A. Would be, is it corrective or what was the other one? Sorry, confirming. confirming or corrective feedback. If they got it right,
It's confirming.
exactly, you're gonna confirm that they got it right. Yes, you got that correct. Kathy, yes, you got that
So
right.
Yeah.
B,
So,
they,
It's
it's
correcting.
confirming, inform that they've got it right,
mhm.
and then the other one is corrective.
Corrective. So if they got it wrong, we don't want it to. They did mention this in the book. Actually, they emphasize this in the book. You do not want to demean the person.
No.
You do not want to bring down their confidence. The whole point to corrective is to keep it constructive. You got it wrong. However, this is the right answer. This is how we get to the right answer. It all depends on what you're trying to teach.
See, I always say, you know, you could do it that way, but here's another way.
Exactly.
I
And
try
I do
to
that.
keep negatives out.
Yeah. There's. Well, I mean, in some things like mathematics and
Right,
and
the concrete things.
concrete sciences, you can't really do that.
Right.
But agreed. I do that a lot in my training. There's several ways to come to the same conclusion. And
This
so you
one's more
can.
effective.
This
or-
is the most effective order. There's a few things that I teach them. I say this is the way I do it. Granted, you just have to make sure you fit it to the SOP guidelines. So you can come up with your own little tweaks that improve the efficiency of your procedure. But, sorry, that was probably not laid out the best, but you did get it right. It's all there. So you would have gotten confirming feedback because you got them all right.
Nice.
It was interactive. It was supposed to be both. I guess I should have split it, made it either the activity or the evaluation. But that's how we want to break it down. The 5 steps. So you got rationale. What am I going to gain out of this? The objectives.
What's in it for me?
What you're going to be able to walk away with this. What
What can I do when we're done?
Exactly. Objectives are going to be concrete. What will you know by the end of the course, or be able to perform by the end of the course? A lot of times with PTE, it's going to be hands-on. It's going to be interactive. It's going to be things that you will be able to demonstrate. For example, when I took my BLS course, Basic Life Support, so it's basically your CPR. I was able to learn how to perform CPR on adults, elderly, infants, and also use an AED. That was the beginning of the course. This is what you'll be able to know. Then we had to demonstrate by the end of the course. So that's how your objectives and evaluation are going to play in each other. Activities fill in the middle to get them to that point, getting them to the objectives point by the end of the course. And I just feel that, personally, I feel activities are a lot more powerful. You're going to get a lot more from activities than you are from just sitting and listening in a lecture hall. Unfortunately, that's not always the case. You sometimes have to sit in that 250 student lecture hall and you're just
Yeah.
waiting, right? But that was basically the whole purpose of that chapter, was to take this previous chapter, sum it up, and format this concrete, universal platform that you could take into your own working environment. So Kathy could immediately take this into her next class and use it for, you could do it by day, you could do it by week, you could do it for the whole term. And it helps give you a general structure and organization, because we all know unorganized, which I kind of proved was not the best method for teaching. But that was basically a chapter, because the rest of it was basically taking this and turning it into a hypothetical, what if kind of situation. But I hope that helped. I hope that covered it well for you. Questions,
Yep.
concerns? I probably wasn't the most organized, but that's my weak point. I will fix that.
Thank you.
Um,
All right, he changed it, so we just need to.
Yeah,
how
because
was
we're
each-
running out of time.
How was each chapter impactful?
I would say chapters 3, 4, and 5 played into 6 as far as building up material that was valuable. And based on chunking, though, like we had discussed chunking. So this was basically chunking the material of all the chapters.
So
leading
this
up
one
to
you
6.
said,
That creates a platform. It summarized all the previous chapters, created a platform to use in education with the five basic steps: rationale, objectives, activities, evaluation, and feedback.
And so we need, out of one of them, some more real-world application.
I'm sorry, what's that?
We need 2 real-world
Well, the
applications.
thing is, that is real world everywhere.
Just do the last one. How was each chapter impactful? Just overall, 2 applications, that's all.
Okay.
You don't need to do 2 for each, just 2 overall.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that'll be easy.
Yeah, okay, chapter 3, what was our takeaway? How was it impactful? The video he did.
Basically explained that there are different senses that we use in learning, and the most dominant would be visual. But the more senses you can engage, the stronger your takeaway will be.
So different senses,
Dominant is visual, however, more senses the better. Or more senses
Just
engaged,
two overall, just
the
be
better.
curious.
okay, and then chapter 4,
And that thing I got out of it the most was the key ingredients for learning, which is ability, prior knowledge, and motivation.
Especially with adult learning, though, 'cause
Yeah.
ability,
And motivation.
ability,
With
prior
prior
knowledge.
oh, prior now, I'm like, wait, there's
Because
something I'm missing.
because
Prior
there's like,
knowledge.
say, elementary, you don't really have much prior.
You don't need to, as long as you can read it.
I mean,
and
like
know how
2
to say
real
it.
world applications,
Ability, prior knowledge,
yeah,
motivation.
That applies in the training environment.
yeah, it applies
directly.
everywhere,
Yeah.
actually.
RIA.
You got a bunch of talkers in this class there,
Hey, you know what? This worked out really well. I
Yeah.
enjoyed listening to the different groups.
Yeah. And because all of us are, in teaching and training, PTE sort of stuff, it worked out really well.
Yeah,
for us.
yeah, you're right. A little bit more meaningful.
Okay, what's our 2 real
Did you guys
world
turn the light off in that room?
applications?
Was it the lady in there? There's somebody.
So,
Why don't we use your bio,
No, I didn't get the, I locked the door.
your bio training? That's a real world.
well, the thing was, is
Yeah, I
that
don't go
applies
that
to
far.
pretty much everything. Chapter 6's steps would apply
I know,
to any
but
training.
he just said 2, so
So,
if he,
phlebotomy training, yep, or biomass training.
I don't know, I think. Oh, very much so.
what
Yeah,
else?
We're out of it.
I don't think we're gonna have time to
Get into your move. Yeah, give visibility.
Real world applications, any training.
You could call Ryan.
Any
That's
adult
what I was
learning.
thinking.
Or Lisa
Any
or
training or
anybody down
any
there at
education.
your-
I'm gonna put your CPR too.
And you would say, hey, you give temporary
Good
access,
idea.
visibility to.
Just for examples,
Or
because it
you could-
applies.
It does. They were great examples.
Yeah, you could go in and make it a non